Hey, Doc, we got to get some injury news in
All
here.
right, let's go.
Okay, first and foremost, Emmanuel Moseley.
Yes.
Torn pec.
Yes.
We saw this a lot with CJ last year.
Yep.
CJ tore it in the second game of the season, so that was mid-September. Was able to come back in January. How long technically is this injury for Moseley?
Well, like I've said it, I don't like the word indefinitely. Right now, the word indefinitely is out with him. And I think, again, talking about him having a few injuries in a short period of time, from a physician science standpoint, we need to take a step back, make sure there's nothing wrong from a medical standpoint. Not trying to throw out there like people start thinking like, what does that mean? Is there, it's not like a cancer or anything like that, but is his ligament softer? Is he taking a supplement that's, there's certain supplements that I see more with my weightlifters, my power lifters, where it makes it a little bit more brittle. Let's just simplify it as that. Is he doing something like that? Is it something he's taking? Is it something in his DNA? Is it, where is it coming from? I bring up Lindstrom a lot because he had those injuries and those fractures in a short period of time. We did the same thing with him. It's like, let's make sure all the medical stuff is in line before we say he's just got bad luck. And then we can say, the kid's got bad luck. What are we going to do to rehab it? He's been through a lot. Is this his last injury? The guy came back from an ACL. A pec injury is easier to come back from than an ACL injury. It depends how much of the pec was torn. Sounds like a significant part of that is torn. You got to go through the healing. He'll get some of the secret sauce. That's what happened before with the other gentleman that came back for the Lions.
CJ.
But, I'm hopeful. I'm not making any predictions on this one, but we're hopeful that he does see at least the end of the season. But, like Dan Campbell, he's got the mentality. I keep calling I'm going on fourth down. He's playing next man up. You don't know what the needs will be. Mm-hmm. We may have more injuries because of that attitude, or, we may have teams that are just people we don't talk about right now are going to be shining on the Lions by the end of the season.
Looking at the time between when CJ did it last year and how much time he had to get ready for the playoffs versus when Emmanuel Moseley did it, could it be a better thing that he did it early because CJ came back, but it may have seemed like we rushed him back. It seemed like he was still playing with some discomfort, which is sport. You're going to play with discomfort when you're coming back from injury. But by them being deep at that position now, defensive back, and he did it a little earlier, could he legitimately be healed by the time we may need him if he's able to come back? A little different situation than CJ.
Like I always say, there's a physiological healing, right? So there's the initial healing, which we call that six-week thing. You're starting to feel better. You feel like you can perform. From a physiological, the closest would be is a 4-month, depending on how much, but it's really that 6-month thing. We throw it out there, but there's science behind it that supports the regrowth. I don't know how much is going on. Some of the secret sauce stuff is speeding that up by a couple months, and there's a lot of the teams are looking at it, using it. So it's the biologic stuff that we're talking about. So there is a healing method that we use, some of the natural healing powers that may speed it up. But 4 months would probably be the earliest I would predict from here moving forward. So what are we? We're August, so he's talking December. You're talking about coming after the new year, potentially being a player on the team. And does he have as much power? Your chest muscle is your chest muscle. Yeah. You can't do a push-up without it. You can't do a push-off without it. You can run all day, but you can't be powerful, Football's that contact sport, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, speaking of football, one more injury to discuss. John Kaminsky happened last week, though. Torn MCL. Where's the MCL? How different is that from an ACL?
Medial collateral
or a PCL?
ligaments.
Call it out, sir.
Medial collateral ligament.
So it's on the inside of the knee. It kind of holds like the hinge part. So it's a major difference. The ACL is basically holding the stability of the knee. This is holding like lateral movements. So it's a lot more important for lateral movements. It's not career ending. Usually it repairs, you can brace it a little bit better. You can support it a little bit better with bracing and strengthening of your quads. Always for your knee, the strength of your quads are so important. So we talk about muscle balance. You've heard me talk about muscle balance a lot. Muscle balance for prevention of the knee is that you want your quads, your muscle on top versus your hamstring about a 3-to-2 ratio. So when we're doing power stuff, that's where we want those muscles to be. Typically when you have a knee injury, the quad leaves you the quickest. You see atrophy there, but it's also the quickest to come back. So it's a much better injury than an ACL. Can you live without your MCL? Yeah, but we're repairing it. Everything's repaired now. And again, you're at that 6 weeks of feeling good, but 6 months. But in that 3 to 4 month period, depending how strong he is, you're going to be able to be playing.
What injuries are you seeing now at the office? Is there a seasonal injury that you're seeing now? I know, high school football, I guess, hasn't started just yet. Next week it'll start. But what are you seeing at the office?
We're getting a run of knee injuries right now. I have my worst pickleball injury in a young athlete.
Really?
Yeah, so it's now I'm paying attention to it. Now McCarty's making fun of me with the doctor.
Is that from all the stopping and starting?
It's the sudden movement in short spaces, right? So you got to be start and stop, and you're going for it. You get your competitive edge. And this guy, he played AAA hockey, college club. He was a good athlete, great physique, and great shape. He was playing against one of his buddies that's going to the NHL. It was just competition. He lunged for a ball, hyperextended, twisted, and he's having surgery.
Dang.
So now I'm paying a lot. It's not the older people. My kids are out playing pickleball right now.
We did it on Fox 2 today. We had a pickleball segment where we were out there playing pickleball. I won, of course, but that's another story for another day. Just saying.
Never came out of the game.
Never came out of the game.
Never came out of the game.
I think you need your sideline physician talking about
there
it.
There you go. We can do that.
I got good news for you. It's 3:55.
There you go.
Wait, what?
Check out Dr. Pierce, WSN Injury Inside of the Michigan Sports and Spine Center, MichiganSportsandSpine.com. Dr. Pierce, we'll see you next week. Break, get us out of here.
Attention sports fans, don't miss out on Expert Sports Injury Insight with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday during Big D Energy and Thursdays during Ermanni and Edwards, where he offers top-notch injury advice. Trust the guy that I trust. Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsandSpine.com or call 248-426-9944.